Righto, so surprise, surprise, I bought another car. But there is a reason and you'll love it. Maybe. See how we go. You guys are probably a lot like me, where over the years you see a car and you think to yourself, oh, I'd love one of them, and then you jump on eBay or you jump on Gumtree and you have a look and it's just too expensive, you just can't afford it, and you think, oh shit, and you look through Google and you look at wheels and, oh, if I lower it and do this, oh, look at the exhaust you can get for it, oh, I'd love to find one, and you look through and there's still 3 or 4 grand out of your price range, and you just, well, and then you end up just going and buying a dirty old Corona, and then it is what it is. But then later on you're flicking through Facebook Marketplace and your missus is in your ear and you're not ignoring her, and you're like, oh, look at that, I found one and it's cheap enough. And that's what happened with this one. So what I've bought again, okay, because 09 Subaru Forester Turbo, right? So that one there is an 09 Turbo Forester. Okay, I bought that one a while back and it's got a blown motor. Now I ended up doing that deal not long ago and got another 2.5 litre twin cam turbo motor for a Subaru, which is on the stand in there. Okay, I bought studs to redo studs, head gaskets, going to do a timing set, and all this stuff adds up and adds up and adds up and adds up, and it was costing, I'm still going to build this car, right? This is still going to happen because I've got a plan. Just hang in there with me, hang in there. Right, so I've still got an engine for this vehicle and I've got the studs already, and we'll buy the head gaskets, and I've got to get an exhaust for this one, but I found another one. So this car, he had it for sale for 4 grand. I got it for $3,300. I bought it the other day. Now the thing ran and drove. This is quite a nice car. All right, so 09 Forester again, black. Both cars are autos. This one's got BRZ wheels on it because they run the same, and the Toyota 86s run 5x100 wheels. Big tyres. It's got big heavy springs, so this thing's lifted up in the air. Quite a tidy car inside. I quite like it a lot. I like it a lot. All right. So once again, suspension done in it, but lifted. I want lowered. Lee's got this thing pulled apart. So what was wrong with this car to make it so cheap, because these things still sell for 9 to 12 grand, right? Way out of my price range, is this is the pinion. See, that's broken, so the gears are broken there. Okay, so in a Subaru gearbox, okay, in the autos, they run the automatic transmission, so you have automatic transmission fluid, and then they have a diff in the front. So this isn't the one out of it, this is an earlier one, right? So that's your automatic transmission, so that will run auto fluid, and then this here, that's your bell housing where your torque converter goes, and that's the diff, okay? And the pinion comes through and meshes with the ring gear, right? So that's what was making the noise, because there's your front shafts, and then your automatic transmission bolts onto here. So that's full of gear oil, and then that there is your auto, right? And look at the torque converters, they actually have this big shaft on them. With the manuals in Subarus, the manual gearbox oil is in the diff, and the diff goes into the gearbox. So if you do a gearbox, you might ruin the diff as well in a manual setup. But with the auto setups, you can wreck a diff, unbolt it and bolt a new diff on, or the auto can go and your diff will still be fine. So that makes sense, I hope. Hang in there with me. Now, the turbo ones, gear ratio is a massive thing in a Subaru. So you can't run staggered wheels like 20s in the rears and 19s in the front. You need the same rolling diameter front and rear, otherwise it binds up the center diff, okay, and wrecks it. You've got to run the same wheel size front and rear, have to. When doing research on this to find out what that clicking was, a lot of guys were saying they put their spare on and the spare was a different size and it spun at a different rate, destroyed the diffs. Most rear diffs in the Subarus are the same, like they all bolt into the same thing, but most Subarus run 2 different gear ratios, 444s and 411s. Aspirated, which is non-turbo, which is what we've put back into this, because apparently one of the good conversions that you do with a turbo car is put the 4.4 gears in, because I did have a white 09 aspirated Subaru Forester, same as this, that had done head gaskets that I've held on for a while. So it was an auto, still a 2.5 motor, but it had, but single cam, not twin cam, but still the same gearboxes. Most Subaru gearboxes will bolt up. Most diffs are all the same. It's just that gear ratio. But you've got to have the same gear ratio in the rear diff as what's in the auto. Are you keeping up with me? I hope this is helpful for someone that's doing a swap or whatever. But the big mod is, for the turbo ones, is to put an aspirated front diff and rear diff. So we had a good gearbox there. The gearbox, from what we can tell from looking at things written on the gearbox and in the service stuff, had been replaced in that car. So it's a fairly low-K gearbox that we've put back in this, and we pulled the diff out of the aspirated one and put that into that, which gives you more response off the line. We're going to put a throttle controller in here as well, which makes a huge difference, because in my wife's Liberty, okay, so the Liberty runs a 3-litre 6-cylinder boxer, which is a 4-cylinder 2.5 boxer, but it has the switch on the console which gives you sports mode, economy mode and flappy paddles. This is no flappy paddles and doesn't have that switch, but you can buy from super cheap. They're about 220 bucks. You can get them through eBay for 178 bucks delivered, and that just, it's a direct plug-in, and you have 5 different modes, which really livens them up. Like I can drive along in the Liberty with my foot at say 2 grand, flick the switch to sport, the revs jump up to about 3 grand, and it's just responsive, like massively different, and the fuel economy from being in sport mode to economy mode is huge. So I hope all that made sense. We have swapped out of an aspirated 09 Forester, the gearbox and diff, so that way we're changing the 411s to 4.4s, which will make it more responsive. It just happened that that's what we had, right? But it ends up that that is the modification that guys want to do, because the pinion snapped those teeth off. The car was still drivable, auto change gears, so I've still got a good auto there that I could bolt another diff, front diff to. But yeah, so he's just about to put that together. So the plan is with this car and with this car is this one is getting coilovers. Okay, so these are a Max speeding rod coilover. They're about $510. Before anyone cries, I understand that these are cheap coilovers, okay? But you've also got to understand, I'm not building a race car. It's going to be a street car, and the only purpose for these is I either chop the springs with an angle grinder or fit these. So, yeah, but this is a lot easier. So we're going to do that. But then instead of chopping those springs, that gives us a set of lifted wheels and springs to go into the other car, because the other car's a bit rougher in the body and rougher in the paint. So yeah, we'll end up with a pretty cool thing. Lifted on the aspirated car, that's, I'm trying to get the light right for you. On the aspirated car over there, it's got a bull bar. I'll take the roof racks off this one. I want to actually do a roof rack delete on this car, which apparently is a mission. You've got to drop the hood liner and you can buy the strips to go on them. I've got a big screen stereo and stuff to go in it. I'm going to retrim the seats. I'm going to make this into a really nice car. This is a car that I've wanted to build for ages, which is why Leith got stuck into it straight away to get it going for me, because he knows how long I've wanted to build this car. So I hope all that made sense. We've got a new gearbox in it now. He's done the diff. It's got half an exhaust system, but it's only a single out the back, so we're going to modify it so it does have twins coming out the back, because it has provisions. So it's got that there. We're going to chop into here and put a Y piece and bring it out, because you'll see on the back of these it actually has 2 spots for that. So yeah, it's a pretty tidy car this. That's locked. I'm actually really happy with it, and it's pretty cheap. and even after we've done all these modifications with gearboxes and suspension. I bought those Simmons wheels a while back for my wife's car. I might just throw them on for now, but the tyres will be too small. But yeah, I do have maybe these wheels to put on it, and I do have another set of black wheels there that I bought as well that I've got to buy tyres for, all 18s. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Subaru Forester 09 model turbo. I'm going to put the big intercoolers top mounts. They're about $299 bucks. I'm going to put that on, put a couple of extra pounds into it with that controller, the sports mode controller, and should be pretty cool. I hope all that made sense with the gearboxes. Feel free, if you're about to do a swap or you've got an issue, question me down below and I will help with any questions, because we've just been through the process on what interchanges and what does. I'm more than happy to help. Okay, so yeah, all right. Leith's going to finish off the gearbox and diff stuff. I'm going to get the coilovers in and whack some wheels on and show you how it looks. Okay, so Forester. She's now lowered, as you can see. It's on those max speeding rod coilovers, but it drives terrible. I've just stuck those wheels on. I do have another set of 18s at work with some 245, 45, 18 tyres that I got some new ones, which are going to get fitted up, well, hopefully this week, and onto that. Now the coilovers, we're going to take this for a drive. We're going to put some fuel in it. Drive absolutely atrociously. So went to Brisbane the other night and I bought springs, and these are lowered, 30mm lowards and heavy duties. So I'm going to go back to, in my next video, I'll take you for a drive in this Forester now and just show you how bad it drives. And then in the next video, I'll run through what year model suspension, where I went wrong with this, what buying the other coilovers and stuff like that with someone that wants to lower their Forester, and what's interchangeable, because the 2015 ones are supposedly an extra inch lower than like your 2014 downs, plus I've got lowered springs. I want to go fairly low but not super low, so we'll find out. I'll be able to tell you if 15s fit in one of these. So I'm pretty positive they fit, whether they're too low, but anyway, it'll ride better. But anyway, let's start this beast up. I'm wrapped with this thing, I really am. Wouldn't start, so I think it's out of fuel, but that's just honestly the way things have been going. The Jag's sitting there with issues at the moment as well. I've got to go through that thing and fix just wiring and trans lines and stuff. There's a few videos coming that will shed some light onto what's been going on behind the scenes and why you haven't seen me. But yeah, so anyway, this thing's awesome and I love it, but I'd have to get some fuel. Then we'll do the drive. Yeah. Right, got it to start. Sorry about the rain, I'll be quick. So these aren't the wheels staying on it. As you can see, it has been lowered. I'm going to take it for a drive now because these coilovers are horrendous. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with how she's coming up. Still with the plans with the delete for the roof racks. I have other wheels that I'm not happy with, but bigger tyres. There's a front bar lip that I want to get. Yeah, she's pretty good. So there's a mark on this door, so you can delete these to drop the roof rack and stuff. But I like it. I like it a lot. See, it's only got that single exhaust instead of the dual, but it's still got that WRX. Yeah, seats, they are electric. I'm going to pull that spanner out from there. I don't know whether to get these recovered and bolstered into something special or replace them altogether. Due to the electric part in them, I might pull them apart, see what I can do, see if I can keep that. But I'm going to go get some fuel and take this for a drive and show you how bumpy this thing is. Madness. One thing you notice about this car is that you've got a tacho, you've got a speedo, and you've got a fuel gauge with a fuel light. That blue light there is your temperature gauge, but there's no temp gauge, there's nothing. It's crazy. But this thing here is pretty cool. Like, it's oh, looks like Nicole's going to film for us. So anyway, let's get her reaction on yeah, how this car rides. Tell me what you think of the coilovers, Nicole. What do you reckon on how this thing rides? Is terrible, isn't it? I'm just going to whip down to the BP and put some ultimate in it. Yep. It was out of fuel. But yeah, it's terrible. So I want to can't drive around with it like this.
Not out here, no way.
No, it's not anywhere. It's terrible. Like, and I'm hoping those other struts will fix the problem. So, but yeah, so that's anyway. That's why I want to change the coilovers over, because it's absolutely horrendous. We do have a stereo system to fit to this. I want to do the steering wheel with like the suede cover, a few other interior bits, change these seats out. I'm thinking of going black with like a yellow accents through the car, maybe even some new yellow seat belts and stuff. But yeah, I'm really happy with this thing. It's going to be a nice car. Just got to work through the process and get it good. So alright, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Got some other videos coming up. Things a lot of things have changed at the workshop. Things haven't been great for a bit, but yeah, we'll run through that over the next few videos. And yeah, I know I've said it before, but let's hope I get back on track. Alright, see you all.